right, welcome to Video Guys Live. Tuesdays at 3 p.m. we teach you about the technology and the products we sell. Today's show is all about SSDs. Video Guys recommends SSDs and VME portable storage solutions. Little drives, you can see I got a bunch of them right in front of me right here. I'm going to pick one of them up just to show to you. All these drives are here for a reason. We can get back to that later, but now let's go into the presentation itself. Why do we recommend SSD solutions? Number one, they are reliable as heck. No spinning disks, less wear and tear, and I just love the fact that I can put them in my pocket. I can put two in my pocket. I could put three in my pocket. It's that simple. These things are so small and so cool. I just love that about them. Sorry I messed up the thing here, Oliver. That's on me. All right, let's get back to where we were. Durable. Listen, you can see some of these are more rugged than others. Some of them maybe not appearing so rugged, but I got to tell you, these things are durable because there's no moving parts. So you really got to go out of your way to break or crush or ruin one of them. They're cool, you know. One of the things we've always said, and this goes back 10, 15 years ago when the first RAIDs were shipping. These were RAIDs with, you know, Micropolis drives, SCSI drives in them, and that is heat is the enemy of storage. As drives heat up, they get less effective. They don't work as well. So all the drives we're going to show you today have some degree of thermodynamics, thermal cooling that allows them to operate at a high level. The faster the drives are, the more heat that has to be dissipated. Everything we're going to show you is more than suitable for content creation. Last, I jumped ahead, portable, fit anywhere. Look how small these things are, folks. I mean, I just love that they're so small. And then the top three reasons we recommend these SSD and NVMe solutions: speed, 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 baby. So let's jump into the show a little more. All right. One of the questions people ask is, how fast do I need for video editing? So I want to go over this kind of in broad strokes. You know, under 250 megabytes per second, that's good for file transfers and backup, but I wouldn't edit off of something that slow. 450 megabytes, that's fast enough for HD editing with compressed ProRes DNX and even compressed 4K with some of the higher compressed things. And if you think about it, 450 to 500 megabytes per second, that's where what we used to call a G RAID, a two-drive RAID will get you. If you stripe two drives together, you're going to get about 450 to 500 megabytes per second. If you stripe four drives together in a RAID, you're going to get about over 1,000 megabytes per second, about 950 to 1050. If you get to 8 drives and more, now you can flood a bus and you can get up to, you know, that 2800 throughput that you're going to see here. So let's go back to SSDs though, because I don't need a stack of 8 hard drives to get that speed. I can get to 1,000 megabytes per second with a single NVMe SSD or an SSD RAID, and actually I can get over 2,500 megabytes, actually 2,800 megabytes, where I can do 4K raw workflows with drives that have an NVMe drive in them and Thunderbolt 3. So I wanted to simplify things and explain to you. If we can pull this chart up for a second, Oliver, and it's my how fast is SSD. And I really want to stress this, that your speed will be limited by your connection interface. So once again, to put an SSD on anything less than USB 3 is kind of silly. You're throttling yourself back so far. For old-fashioned USB 2, you can get 240, 250 megabytes per second to 480 megabytes per second. That's slower than SSDs actually operate. USB-C will allow you up to 1,000 megabytes per second, so that'll let you get 560 megabytes off of a single SSD, or 950 off of a VME or an SSD RAID. And then finally, Thunderbolt 3, that's the big kahuna. That's where we get to the 2,800 megabytes that you see in green on the bottom corner. But now what I'd like to do is, I want Oliver to switch over to what we have over here when you keep that in mind, because now what I've done is I've arranged these drives by speed. So these are my USB-C single SSD drives, getting me 560 megabytes per second. Now that's the top. Some of these get a little bit less, but they're still 540 to 560. Then in the middle row, what I have here is I have the Glyph Atom RAID, which is 2 SSDs in here, and then I also have the LaCie NVMe drive, but these are USB-C only. And then over here, I have the big kahunas. These are NVMe and they're Thunderbolt 3. These are the drives that'll get you 28 megabytes per second. You're going to pay a premium. You can get blazing fast speed, worth every penny if you need the speed. What I'm really waiting for that I can't wait to see is one of the things that I feel is important is you look at these drives. They're not that big. They're small. They're portable. I think for our industry, what I think a lot of people want to see is 4 terabytes of space in one of these drives. And right now, the only drive that could do that is this Glyph drive we'll get to later, because it's two 2-terabyte drives inside here to get to 4 terabytes, 950 megabytes per second. So we'll get to more of that in a minute, but I really love these SSDs, and now we're going to break them down into the families. So now let's look at the drives that are USB-C SSDs. Like I said, these are going to get you 560 megabytes per second. They're very portable and small. I'm going to pick them all up here and show you. These are all bus driven by a single cable. They are USB-C, which I'm calling USB universal connectivity. Now, why do I call it that, Oliver? Let me tell you why I call it that. And I'll say for everyone, not just Oliver, but USB-C is truly backwards compatible. You can get USB-C as that little jack. You can get a USB-C to USB-A adapter. And now you can plug that into just about every computer that's still running today. If you've got a computer that's running, it doesn't have USB 2 in it, God bless you, you did a great job keeping that thing going. And obviously under USB 2, your speed's going to vary. You're not going to get to the 560 megabytes per second, but you still will be able to copy your files, which also means if you've got an older computer, you can get one of these puppies, you can copy all your data off of it, and then bring it over to your new fast computer. So USB-C with SSD, a good combination, great price, that's where your price points are, excellent performance, good enough for HD workflows, good enough for compressed 4K, and more than adequate for like doing multiple ISO streams from your live streaming. Next, I want to go up to USB-C with NVMe. Now, NVMe is a faster version of SSD. It takes advantage of the PCIe bus technology to write even faster. You can get up to 950 megabytes per second, small portable form factors, bus powered by a single cable, and universally connectivity. Now, this is not the Elite Pro version, but we would have 2 drives really in this category, which are NVMe. There's a SanDisk version of this that's NVMe, and this drive, which is very, very cool. I love this drive, folks. We're going to talk about it later, but what I really love about this drive is how small it is, that it's rugged, the capacities, and the speed. At 950 megabytes per second, it can handle just about every workflow except for like 4K RAW. So I love this. Now let's talk about another cool thing. This is something that the folks at Glyph were doing before anyone else really caught on to it. And that's what they have is 2 SSD cards in this puppy. So this puppy gets you 950 megabytes per second. And like I said before, you can get up to 4 terabytes in size. Very cool, small portable form factor, bus power with a single cable, and it's Thunderbolt 3 or USB-C. So very cool. It does both. Next, we have the big kahunas. My favorites, let's bring the slide up full screen. Thunderbolt 3 with NVMe. That is the best combination. Blazing 2800 megabytes. Small portable form factors, bus powered from a single cable, and once again, the Thunderbolt 3 enables the 2800 megabytes per second. But wait, this drive's a pretty cool drive. This drive has a universal adapter that's both USB-C and Thunderbolt 3 through the same adapter. So when you go USB-C, you get you 950 megabytes. When you go through Thunderbolt 3, you get your full run through. So if we go to the top shelf, top camera, when you're going Thunderbolt 3, this puppy's on this row. When you go through USB-C and plug it in, it still works over here. And obviously you can plug it into smaller and lighter things with adapters, but a very cool, very versatile drive. So the next thing we're going to get into, LaCie SSD. I'm going to give you a rundown on the LaCie SSDs. Let's bring me up there so I can talk to people, Oliver. All right, LaCie, we've got 3 drives in the LaCie SSD family we want to talk about. We've got the, let's go back to this overhead one here, right here, if we could. Oh, I'm not Glenn Seaman. All right, so we got 3 levels of LaCie here. We've got the LaCie portable SSD, which gets you 560 megabytes over USB-C. We've got the LaCie rugged SSD. This is USB-C only, giving you 950 megabytes. And the LaCie Rugged Pro, which is Thunderbolt 3 at 2800 megabytes, or it also supports USB-C, which gets to 950 megabytes. Let's bring back the screen and we'll go over some of the sizes and prices. The LaCie portable SSD, 500 gigabytes, starts at $119.99. The 1 terabyte is $179.99. The 2 terabyte is $379.99. Let's bring this up full screen, sorry. The rugged SSD, that's the orange one, that's going to get you 950 megabytes per second. 500 gigabytes, $181.99. 1 terabyte, $301.99. 2 terabytes, $501.99. The rugged Pro SSD, which via Thunderbolt 3 will get you 2,800 megabytes, but can also be hooked up via USB-C at slower connectivity, 950 megabytes. Well, that's 1 terabyte for $401.99 or 2 terabytes for $701.90. So that's the LaCie family of SSD drives. All right, our next family is the G-Tech G-Drive Mobile SSD and SSD Pro. So let's go to the overhead and talk about those a little bit. We have the SSD Mobile R, which is USB-C only, gets you 560 megabytes connectivity speed. And then we have the Pro, which is an NVMe drive, Thunderbolt 3 only, gets you 2,800 megabytes per second. Let's bring the screen up with me now on the side, and we'll go over the pricing. In fact, you can bring the screen up full screen. The G-Drive Mobile SSD, 500 gigabytes for $109.95, 1 terabyte for $189.95, 2 terabytes for $329.95. The G-Drive Mobile Pro SSD, 500 gigabytes, $199.95, 1 terabyte, $379.95, 2 terabytes, $699.95. Guys, I've done shows on these drives. I love these drives from G-Tech. They are rugged. They work great. If you see that little blue tint in there, that blue tint, this is how they cool and how they get rid and dissipate the heat. And that's what lets these puppies run so fast. Because remember, heat is the enemy of your hard drive. So you want a hard drive that has got really good cooling on it, that's really rugged. This is great in the outdoors. It can hold up to any kind of abuse you're going to put it on. The speed and connectivity is fantastic. Get the one that matches your connectivity and you will be off to the races. G-Tech G-Drive Mobile SSD and Mobile Pro SSD. All right. SanDisk Extreme Portable and Extreme Pro Portable SSDs. The Extreme Pro Portable SSD is the one we have right here with a 560 megabytes per second. There is also a, which we don't have in stock, I'm sorry, an Extreme Pro Portable SSD, which is an NVMe but USB-C only, and that'll get you to 950 megabytes per second. Let me go over the pricing on those. If we bring the screen up, please. The portable SSD, USB-C, 1 terabyte, $169.99. 2 terabytes, $299.99. Or we have the Extreme Pro Portable. We have 1 terabyte for $249.99 or 2 terabytes for $449.99. All right, so that's the SanDisk family of Extreme portables. And I like to have this little like carbiner hook so you can hook it onto your, right here, you can hook it onto your backpack or stuff like that for outside, it makes it kind of cool, a little different. Everyone's looking for a little angle. I like this. It's a rugged drive, very light, very cool. Great job by SanDisk. Cool. Our next family of drives are the Glyph Atom SSDs. The Atom SSDs were the first SSDs we had, an external SSDs from the folks at Glyph, and they've improved the product line over a while, but they're very cool. Let's go to the overhead shot and talk about what we have. We have the regular Atom SSD, gets USB-C, 560 megabytes per second. We have the Atom RAID USB-C, which gets you 950 megabytes per second. It's 2 actual drives in there. And one of the cool things about the Glyph ones is the Glyph ones are both Thunderbolt 3 and USB-C, but you still only get the USB-C speeds, but you can hook it up if you have a device that's only Thunderbolt 3. And then this is their big new one that we're real excited about. This is the brand new NVMe model, the Atom RAID Pro. So the Atom RAID Pro is going to give you NVMe speeds of up to 2,800 megabytes per second. This is their new NVMe drive. If you'll notice, it is bigger. It's bigger even than the one that's got the SSD or the single SSD. And the reason these are bigger is the NVMe generates a good amount of heat, and you got to dissipate it. So let's review the pricing on these puppies if we could. The base Atom SSD, 500 gigabytes for $149.95, the 1 terabyte for $199.95, the 2 terabyte for $399.95. The Atom RAID SSD, which is going to get you 950 megabytes per second over Thunderbolt 3 or USB-C, is basically 500 gigabytes for $129.95, 1 terabyte for $249.95, 4 terabyte for $879.95. And then we have the Atom Pro SSDs. These are the brand new ones, NVMe, and you get those starting at $299 for a 500 gigabyte, 1 terabyte for $499, and the 2 terabyte is $999.95. I want to talk a little bit about this puppy, though. This is the Atom RAID 4 terabyte. Now, One of the biggest requests we get from content creators is they want more size in their SSDs. 2 terabytes just isn't quite what folks are looking for. This is the only SSD that's a portable SSD that can fit in your pocket like I showed you before, that's available in up to 4 terabytes. 4 terabytes is going to cost you $879.95, but you are going to get 950 megabytes of throughput, USB-C or Thunderbolt 3 connectivity. So this is a great drive. We recommend it really highly by the folks at Clef. Here we go. The G-Speed Thunderbolt 3 shuttle. All right, I'm going to walk around and show you what this exactly really is, folks. This is the G-Speed shuttle, which if you're used to it, it's been around for a while. It usually has 4 drive bays. Now, typically each one of these drive bays is a hard drive. But with the shuttle SSD, each one of these actually holds 2 SSDs. So you get a total of 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 SSDs. You can also configure this if you want. It can be configured with 6 SSDs and a card reader, because when you buy it, you get the 8 SSDs, plus you get an extra card reader, and that card reader is the technology that allows you to remember. You can get a red card reader, a CFast card reader, different card readers. This is the best solution I know to get a ton of blazing fast SSD storage that is, like I showed you, I picked it up before, it is a portable, rugged unit. It has Thunderbolt 3 connectivity, 8 drives inside. Your pricing is going to be generally, let's bring that up, 8 terabytes for $49.99.95, 16 terabytes for $74.99.95, or 32 terabytes for $89.99.95. Yeah, folks, it's expensive. But if you need this kind of throughput, you need this kind of storage, there's nothing that comes close with the kind of transfer speeds you're going to get from this puppy. 2,800 megabytes per second with up to 32 terabytes of SSD storage. That is insane. That is phenomenal value. Great job by the folks at G-Tech on that puppy. Now we're going to change gears a little bit, folks. What we're going to do is we're going to talk about a new technology being used in the latest cameras, and that's called CFast Express, CF Express. So what CF Express cards do is they combine the technology of PCIe with NVMe in a small little portable card. Now, I'm sorry, I have none of the cards in stock. We get a few in, and they're still in tight supply, and they sell out as fast as we get them in. But we do have these cards available from 2 vendors. We'll get into that a little bit later, SanDisk and ProGrade. So it uses the NVMe protocol, super fast, great for professional imaging and video markets. It is based to be backwards compatible with XQD, so the Type B cards will fit in the same shape and slot as an XQD card. You will need a firmware upgrade for your XQD camera for it to be able to take the CFast Express. All right, who is adopting this? Well, right now, 3 camera companies are now introducing their new cameras with CFast Express. That's Nikon, Canon, and Panasonic. Sony's not going to be that far behind, folks. The XQD technology is kind of dead. They've kind of said they're going to go with CFast Express already. They just haven't released it officially, but I expect them to be there. I expect the higher-end camera folks to follow as well. One of the things we're hoping that CFast Express gives us is a single card format for all the high-performance cameras. It'll make shopping easier. Prices should fall faster as we get to bigger quantities over time. So you'll see, these aren't inexpensive cards. They're expensive cards, but we do expect those cards to come down in price as more and more camera makers are out there and as sales can obviously grow for them. So let's talk about the CFast Express features that they include. Lower burst capture, higher quality video capture, and faster workflows. You can take the data on and off them very, very quickly. There's going to be CFast Express readers coming out, which will be lightning fast. There'll be USB-C or Thunderbolt 3, and some will be multiple readers, so you can read off multiple cards at the same time. Let's talk about the 2 companies who we represent who have CFast Express. ProGrade has their digital CFast Express 2.0 memory card, Golds. Those have capacities ranging from 120 gigabytes to 1 terabyte, as you can see on the screen. $179 for 120, up to $899 for a terabyte. 512 at $549.99, I think is the sweet spot, where you need to be. Read speeds up to 600 megabytes per second, write speeds up to 1,000 megabytes per second. That's one of the things I want to talk about, folks. when we were talking about the SSD drives we had before, the read and write speeds on the portable drives, a portable drive like this, tend to be the same. With these memory cards, however, they have to make accommodations to the technology. So typically you'll see that they have much higher read speeds than write speeds. Why? Because the camera's only writing at a certain speed of if you're taping 5 minutes, it takes 5 minutes of speed to transfer it to the card. It's not needed to be extra. The read speed means you can copy the information off the card onto another computer that much faster, and that's why they tend to accelerate in that level. The other company that we have is SanDisk CF Express cards. They have two families of cards. They have the Extreme Pro cards. Theirs have different specs. So 256 has a read speed of 1700 and a write speed of 1200 at $399.95. And the SanDisk Extreme 512 card is a little bit faster on the write speed. So that one's going to give you 1700 on the read speed, but 1400 on the write speed, and 512 for $599.95. We're big fans of CFast Express. We want to see that adopted in all the high-end camera lines. I'd love to see it put ARRI in there. I'd love to see Red do it, Blackmagic. All the cinema cameras, my hope, will be on CF Express by the end of next year. We were really expecting that this year's NAB show was going to be like the breakout for CFast Express, and that all the camera companies were going to be saying, even if our new cameras don't, our next cameras will. But since there wasn't any NAB show, there was no need to be talking about future technologies like that. But CFast Express is here, folks, and it's going to be rampant, and it's going to grow, and we expect it to hit that tipping point where it's going to be, available in a lot more cameras, in a lot more flavors, for a lot more different users. So before we go into what's coming up on the next show, can we go back to this overhead slide, please? I really love what we did here, folks, and I just want to make sure everyone realizes how many great opportunities and products there are in our world of SSDs. So once again, top row, SSDs that are USB-C. They're going to get you a maximum speed of 560 megabytes per second. They're more affordable. They are lighter, smaller. Middle row, those are products that have NVMe or a RAID in them. They use USB-C. They flood the bus. They'll get you 950 megabytes per second. And this row, the big kahunas, these are the products that have NVMe and Thunderbolt 3, the blazing fast combination that gets you up to 2800 megabytes per second. So thank you for tuning in to today's show on SSD technology. I hope you learned a lot about what's going on there. I love these drives. Like I said, they fit in your pocket. I'm grabbing one from each vendor so no one feels that I'm favoring one over the other. But I just want to pick them up and show you how great these are. I want to say good job by our folks at LaCie, Glyph, and G-Tech for giving us these drives and giving us this technology. We expect this technology to just grow more and more. And once again, I can't wait till we can offer 4 terabyte SSDs across the board in NVMe, in single card, and what have you. But we're real excited. SSD is the way to go for your technology. You can capture, you can edit it, you'll get your data on and off it faster. Video Guys recommends SSDs for video production and for recording your ISO streams when you're doing your live streaming. Isn't that right, Oliver? He's nodding yes. Let's now talk about what we have coming up in our next 2 shows. Real excited. Next week's show, the YOLO box from YOLO Live. This is a self-contained Android box that actually lets you do live streaming, mixing. It has HDMI inputs, and it'll take from your phone as a camera input as well. A really cool box. Sorry about that, folks. My throat got a little dry. A really cool box that sells for just over $1,000. We're looking forward to it on that show. My other tech guy, video production guy, Adam's been playing with it at home. He loves it. He's put some videos up there already of it. We're going to go more in depth with it next week. Hopefully we'll have our first shipment and we'll be able to use one of our shipment units for the show. And then the following show, I talked about it a little bit in the pre-show, virtual trade show, do's and don'ts. We had no NAB show this year. We had no Infocom. We had no IBC now. We hope to have NAB in October, NAB New York. But the bottom line is if you're going to try to replace a trade show with virtual meetings, with virtual Zoom conferences, whatever you want to do, we're going to give you some do's and don'ts, some tips to keep your audience engaged, to make sure that your message gets to your customers. So this was Gary from Video Guys Live. I did not keep this show under 30 minutes. I apologize for that when you count the pre-show. I went a little bit over, but I tried. It was a struggle. I tried to get there. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. I want to remind you, like us on Facebook, please, the Video Guys Facebook page. Like us, give us comments on these videos. We'll get to your comments and use them in the future Ask Video Guys show. YouTube, by all means, check out YouTube. We'll be posting this on YouTube. Oliver may edit a little bit and take out some of the little gaps that I had during the show, but it was pretty smooth. So YouTube, you can watch our videos. We welcome your comments and your likes on YouTube. And then there's the Video Guys blog, where we blog not just our videos and our own articles, but we blog articles from all over the industry. A good place to stop and shop. And more importantly, let's bring up the 800 number, Oliver, because you can call Video Guys at 800-323-2325 and talk to Oliver, Adam, Jen, Jim, or myself. And we're going to tell you and answer your questions about these products, because we use these products all the time. We make videos for a living selling our videos. You know, we use video and live streaming to sell live streaming stuff. We use video production stuff to produce videos. Video is our life. We eat, drink, and sleep video. We can answer your questions. We can bundle stuff together for you. We can help you with your workflows. We have workflow specialists we can call in if you stump us. This is Gary from Video Guys. See you next Tuesday. Peace.